Hey everyone, today I want to share with you another idea for living outside the box in retirement, the dinner party. My name is Gary Weave, and I'll be your host for this episode of Second Act Escapes. I'm going to share with you a couple of recipes out of my personal chef's journal. And when I prepare a recipe, I hardly ever follow the recipe exactly. I'm always adjusting for my tastes or other ideas I might have. So I have a personal journal where I write down a lot of these recipes, particularly my favorite ones. And a couple of those I'm going to share with you today. I recently saw a list of wellness and happiness influencers. And at the top of that list was an active and vibrant social life. Also on that list was having great friends. Both can be combined into a dinner party. And when I say dinner party, I'm talking about everything from a backyard barbecue to a formal holiday gathering. Today I'm going to show you a really simple, great tasting salmon dish. And I've been brining a couple fillets of salmon here for about 15 minutes in some salted water. You don't need any more than 15 minutes. The brine works perfect. And once I take it out of the water, I'm going to pat it dry. And then I'm going to place it on a piece of parchment paper. And once it's on the parchment paper, I want to brush it with just a little bit of coconut oil. And then we're going to put just a little bit of good sea salt on the dish, on the salmon. And then I'm going to top it with a couple pads of butter. Now I'm using ghee. I really like ghee. I think ghee has a much better taste to it than regular butter. And if you have somebody in your family that is sensitive to dairy, ghee is the perfect substitute for butter or alternative to butter. So this is always the hardest part. So I'm going to take the parchment paper and I want to seal the salmon as best as I possibly can in a little pocket or envelope. And then I'm going to tuck those ends underneath, and hopefully this is nice and airtight. And I'm going to put it on a cookie sheet. I'm going to put it in the oven at 325 degrees for about 18 minutes. So let me finish up this second fillet, and we'll come back and I'll show you what it looks like when it's all done. I've got a second recipe I would like to share with you. And if you're ever having a dinner party and you want to bring your A game, this is a great vegetable recipe to serve. So I'm going to start with organic carrots. And I really like these. You can get these carrots that are different colors. And I just think it adds to the look of the dish when it's all prepared. And here's what I'm going to do with these carrots. So I'm going to cut them in half. And then the wider end, I'm going to cut in half again. And I'm going to put them in a bowl. And once I get all of these carrots cut up into these kind of very even sizes so that they all cook the same, I'm going to drizzle them with some coconut oil and a little bit of, I want to season them with a little bit of sea salt. And once I do that, I'm going to spread them out kind of evenly here on a cookie sheet. And I'm going to roast these in an oven at 400 degrees for 20 minutes. and I'll go in and turn them after the first 10 minutes. While the carrots and the salmon finish up, let me fill you in on a couple of secrets. First of all, the dressing for the carrots includes 3 tablespoons of olive oil, a tablespoon of red wine vinegar. The recipe called for a 1/4 cup of honey, and that just seemed like it was too much to me. So I actually use agave, and I only use like a tablespoon, maybe a tablespoon and a half, and that's it. That is plenty sweetness. It also includes a teaspoon of ginger, ground ginger, and a teaspoon of cinnamon, and I chop up some parsley, and I chop up some cilantro, and I put it all together. And when the carrots come out, we're going to dress this with the carrot. We're going to dress the carrots with this concoction, if you will, that I put together. A second secret, and that is the recipe that I took the carrots from called for the carrots to be boiled, and I thought, why on earth would you boil the carrots when you can roast them? So I really prefer this recipe with roasted carrots. I've taken the carrots, placed them in a bowl, and now I'm going to dress the carrots with the dressing that I told you about earlier. And you don't want to dress them too much because it makes them too sweet. Just a little bit. And then I'll give the carrots a little bit of a toss. And we'll put them right out on the plates. Now let's check out our salmon. Be careful because that cookie sheet will be hot. So I just kind of carefully unwrap the salmon. And then hit it with just a little bit of parsley. A squirt of lemon, and there you go. Doesn't that look terrific? Now I know what you've been thinking. How can hosting a dinner party boost my happiness? I always freak out! Well, my secret? Serve lots of cocktails and wine. Don't freak out, it's a party. Here's a few ideas to help you relax. Tip number 1. Plan your menu well in advance with a preparation timeline. I used to do this when we first started hosting dinner parties, and it really helped. Tip number 2. Set the table the night before. Tip number 3. Ask your guests to bring the appetizers and sides. This gives them a chance to show off their culinary skills. For tip number 4, play great tunes. And for tip number 5, don't get too fancy. Leave that to the pros. Keep it simple. We just had a gathering of 16 people, and I did a 9-pound pork roast in the oven at 275 degrees, and we were eating 9 hours later. And remember, most of all, this is a party. Have fun. Enjoy yourself. If someone wants to rank your hosting and cooking skills on a scale of 1 to 10, you invited the wrong people. Thanks for joining us on this episode of Second Act Escapes. Until next time, enjoy living your retirement outside the box.